What's up, guys? Outdoors, about ready to do an outdoor workout with a simple set of bands, maybe do some pull-ups, but this pull-up bar near me. I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about something that comes my way very often, certainly something I've thought about, especially when I started seeing the home gym community evolve to what it is. And that is the question or comment surrounding this very, I say, kind of relatively new phenomenon of these very elaborate home gyms, whether that's a basement, a full decked out garage, such as myself, but I'll touch on that as well. Or even whole separate pieces of land like an outdoor shed or refurbished barn or something like that. But I do think for the average person, regardless of your socioeconomic status, although I will touch on a theme here that some people think or perceive that the home fitness community or what you kind of see is for like the ultra rich or elite of society. Most people, when they first see these things, I find, I still to this day, most people are really taken aback at these setups. If you're like me, you grew up seeing home gyms that were kind of minimal at best, but also a little dirty, didn't have the most elaborate equipment. It certainly wasn't taking a commercial gym and then transplanting it into the home. And I can kind of some way see this possibly turning into, as with any kind of fad or social media, heavy social media influence or marketing influence, this could be something that kind of falls by the wayside. I'm starting to think of like the home theater setups that were very popular like the early 2000s and mid 2000s. That was something that was kind of somewhat of a status symbol, and that's something people constantly say about these setups. So this is like the modern day flex for guys who have some money to throw around to make their own kind of personal home gym. And based on what I'm seeing, it does seem like the average person is kind of buying a lot more into it, where in the past they previously probably would have maybe rolled their eyes at needing that much excess. What comes to mind was a recent comment, someone flashing the screen, and I kind of chuckled at it. Someone saying that really going to the commercial gym is for the peasant class. The ultra rich are never going to go step foot in the gym for a number of reasons. I actually kind of think that's the opposite. I always find people, and I've had this discussion, I'll share with you guys here briefly, that I find people that actually have a lot of money typically tend to be more frugal. You guys have probably heard that. I find people that have money typically want to go to a commercial gym for the simple fact of just socializing and also having a trainer. That's something else. I can share a quick story that's jumping in my head right now. I know somebody with them and their spouse both together make very high successful jobs in the multi-millions of dollars. They easily could afford a whole decked out setup. They have multiple houses, etc. They asked me about, for some reason they needed like a heavier, just one single dumbbell. I'm not sure why they wanted it, but let's just say it was like 65 pounds. Because they had the money whenever they want some quality, I thought, hey, I think I pushed them to some sort of rogue dumbbell. And they looked at it at first glance and the guy told me like, yeah, I'm not paying that money. It's ridiculous. And he went with some sort of like single cap barbell maybe or dumbbell he found on Amazon. So, and I do have many examples of that people are well within their means, but when I throw out a number at them, they realize like that just doesn't seem worth it to them in a certain sense. Again, going back to the beginning, what someone spends their money on is totally up to them. That's kind of subjective at the end of the day. And then there is this question I get a lot, which is who is buying this stuff in this current economic climate? I'm not talking politics or any of your political position, but for some time you can say that the economic climate is not the most stable thing in the world. And in some ways you can justify buying a home gym because of the situation we're in. But I also say that if you're going to invest in some sort of home gym equipment, you want something that's kind of flexible, considering a lot of jobs are kind of transitory and people are moving very frequently. But again, going back to the average Joe, I think when they see some of these costs, even in the budget realm of let's say $300, $400, $500 like machines that are very popular to cover, the way I kind of see it, again, drop your comments down below, and based on what I'm seeing, and I'm going to call myself out here, who really wants and is promoting these 5, 10, 20, I mean, you see almost 50K plus $1,000 gyms. Very cool. Of course, I love seeing it. It's really cool to see that stuff. But for the average person looking at it in the worst case scenario like I'm addressing here, I don't want people to spend money they don't have and or regret something or feel like they need something that they totally do not need. I think first and foremost, you have to look at, and no question, this is a legit factor. That's why there's a lot of money behind it. Yours truly and just influencers in general talking about home fitness equipment, or just, you can call them product reviewers or whatever, and you guys can see that. I mean, there is a growing just boomerang effect that happened after 2020, and it's not like people weren't reviewing products in the past, myself included. I think I had reviews going back to 2011 on just some little tips and tricks on some home fitness equipment. But now we are seeing a lot of big money coming in from a lot of these, especially these newer companies and maybe white labeled companies, where they're investing a lot of money and resources on this very new versatile equipment. And I think most people have thought about this, and this goes back to the classical Weider barbell dumbbell approach of how fitness clubs became so popular. You can only sell someone a barbell and dumbbell, one time. there needs to be some sort of incentive to keep them to buy. And that's where kind of gym memberships and subscription models kind of came into play, hoping the pack people are kind of re-upping and buying things. When it comes to something that is a durable, high quality piece of fitness equipment that could last you multiple generations, I think most fitness companies don't necessarily want you to just buy one thing. So that's why this push for re-innovation, version 2s, 3s, and 4s, and this kind of joke or theme or meme in the home gym community that you're never totally done, you're gonna buy and keep selling things. And again, you have to look at myself included. I think it's fairly obvious that yes, I try to stick to things and cover things that I'm gonna use, but I am reviewing products, I am showcasing things, so there's gonna be some sort of a revolving door of me covering some things to share with you guys. But what I am seeing is that influence and potential marketing getting its way into the consumer's mindset where they're revolving equipment as if they are reviewing it. And I don't rule out, people have commented on this just being purely kind of like status symbols, and you have people that are really more collecting and showing off things than they are actually putting in the work and actually lifting. I still think if people have disposable money and they think this is a cool interest area, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Obviously, just like if you were into any other hobby, collecting cars, woodworking, just having a workshop in general, for sure, just spend the money on the things you want to enjoy. Now, I intentionally film this out here as I'm doing an outdoor workout to make a couple points that this is not perfect or ideal, no. And would I like it if the good Lord were to drop down a hammer strength leg press right here so I can get a nice complete workout, hit some areas that I would like to get hit on a machine? That would be great. And funny enough, I did recently pay for a guest pass at a big gym as I was out of town, and I thought it would just be a fun time to just do like a machine kind of circuit workout, just go through everything. I did like a total body workout as I was out of town, and I was actually surprised on how much the equipment did not feel as good as I thought it did. I pretty much was gravitating to just a barbell on a bench with some weights on there, some relatively lighter weights, some adjustable dumbbells, and one cable setup. That was all I was doing in this very expensive gym, which taught me, again, some primary lessons that of all the different fancy and expensive and nice nuanced setups, the very basic stuff is all that really matters at the end of the day. I think I'm preaching to the choir, but I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on this matter. But what I do know is this simple setup right here, I can do all I want and hit all the things I want to. It's not so much about the equipment that I have. Yes, some things are important, and I've learned that a lot with just resistance bands. It is more so how you train, getting the angles that work for you, and end of the day, just putting in the effort and enjoying the process. If you guys like these kind of ranty commentary videos, let me know. If you have something else you guys want to see me cover, drop it down below in the description box, and I'll see you guys on the next one.